We are driving clean power in all the countries we operate in, and for sure in the UK, which is one of the attractive markets.
So Claus, you've just been listening to Minister Shank speak. He described himself as still the Energy Minister at the start of the talk.
Yes.
What was your key takeaway from this morning's session?
It was a very inspiring speech, to be honest, and it also touched upon the need for the UK to reduce dependency on gas, because that is what is increasing prices. And the way forward to reduce dependency is to build more clean power, to flexibilize the system, so add more flexibility, also demand side, and in the end digitalize the whole system. In the end to also increase the use of electricity. So electrification is the way forward here, and he was very clear about that. And the government is doing several steps to make this easier for us as developers to build wind in the UK, and that is promising.
So when it comes to that, because we're seeing on a global scale, we're seeing supply chain constraints and inflation's hitting offshore wind projects. When it comes to a government consensus behind we want more electrification, we want to drive renewables, how does that impact how Vattenfall looks at a geography like the UK compared to other parts of the world?
Actually, it fits very well to the core of our strategy. I mean, our company is not investing in fossil fuels, and we are driving clean power in all the countries we operate in, and for sure in the UK, which is one of the attractive markets currently. So we are having a large pipeline in the UK. First of all, operational, so we are a world-leading offshore wind operator, but we're also having quite a large onshore operational pipeline, in total 1 gigawatt here. And then we are building new projects. So we have roughly 700 megawatts in England and 800 in Scotland that are in development that we want to build in the next years.
So that's looking to more than double your current operational capacity in the UK. So when it comes to that, when you're looking at these projects, how are you deciding which ones go first in the queue? Which ones are you prioritising? Because we're seeing in the UK projects north of the border in Scotland, they may be struggling with transmission charges. English projects maybe have a slightly easier time of it getting online. Is that influencing decision making?
Yes, of course. In the end, development is very local, right? I mean, it depends on how the development or how the project is received locally. It depends how the grid situation is with the grid reform coming, and it's a project by project decision. And honestly, of course, it's also a development work to sometimes stop projects if they're not promising enough. So not all of them will make it, but we do our best to push the most of them forward.
And when it comes to the pipeline of projects, how far ahead are you with those? What was it? We'll do a bit of quick maths. It's what 1.5 gigawatts in the pipeline across the UK. What's the furthest ahead? Are we looking to AR8, allocation round 8, as maybe a potential to enable some of these projects, or are they slightly further ahead?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the furthest ahead is our Clash 2 project in construction currently. But then we have a few projects that are now in the publication phase, and that is, for example, Array 2 in England, but also some Scottish projects. Most likely for the next round, to be honest. But it's a large pipeline that we want to bring to life.
Good. And when it comes to getting turbines in the ground, as you say, you're in a construction phase at the moment. Mm-hmm. Are you finding that sort of easy to deliver that infrastructure? We're seeing, as I say, we're still seeing inflationary costs hitting, even though there is a government consensus behind wind. Is that making projects more challenging as they go forward, or was that something that was baked into your planning?
In principle, yes, it doesn't help, right? I mean, if we have such supply chain crises like currently, and with the Iran war and so on, this doesn't help. For our running projects in construction, normally we have signed these contracts way earlier, right? So then we are rather secure, and we cooperate with our suppliers to help them also to make it possible. Going forward, there's a risk that we see higher prices, which in the end will then also be reflected in higher power prices slightly, right? So there's a risk for that. But in the very end, the new projects we are progressing are so efficient normally from turbine size and new technology that in the end it's way cheaper than 5 years ago. So a small increase currently is not changing the picture that overall the system costs get cheaper.